Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Joye Lee-McNelis is brought to you by Bancorp South, right where you are. And brought to you in part by Hattiesburg Coca-Cola. Want a taste of everything? Drink Coke Zero with real Coke taste and 0 calories. The City of Hattiesburg, a proud sponsor of Southern Miss Athletics. UPS, we love logistics. One Mississippi, now open for small business. And the University of Southern Mississippi. It's great to be a Golden Eagle.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. The Lady Eagles, 2 wins last week to improve to 15-7 on the year, 8-3 in Conference USA, and continue their hold on solo third, but now just a single game out of first place. And we'll start with the very exciting come-from-behind overtime win against Middle Tennessee. We're 4-0 in overtime, and it's like we love overtime because we like to play in it so much. Joy, this has been a wild year to say the least, but another come-from-behind win over the defending champs and the preseason pick to win the league. Those are 2 huge wins, especially the one this week.
You know, what's ironic is that we played them an overtime game at their place just a couple of weeks ago. And so to our players, when we get it to overtime, it's like, well, we've already done it, so we'll do it again. And, you know, that's their mentality is, oh, we're in overtime. We're good, Coach. We got it. And once again, it was just a battle. You know, Middle Tennessee is a very good basketball team. They're very well coached. Cheyenne Parker was a player that we had to key in on. And, you know, we battled her. We really did, I think, a good job on her. Olivia Jones, Sisson that came off the bench that hit the 3 balls against us at middle. You know, we were focused in on her. We did a much better job defensively on all of their 3-ball shooters, to be very honest with you. And again, I thought offensively it was not a pretty game, but again, we made plays when we had to make plays. And it all, again, Josh, was generated out of our defense. Our defense was very solid. It was truly a defensive battle of both teams. And I really felt like at the end of that game, I was pretty exhausted because I felt like I had played defense with our team. And so, you know, again, it was a great win for our program. You know, it was a great win in many ways in RPI. You know, to be able to get another win against a team of that caliber that we have so much respect for. You know, and our players played really, really well in that game. And again, offensively, it was a battle at some point. At different points in the game, but in the end, when we had to make plays, we made plays.
Just great defensive teams, and it was a similar defensive effort that you knew you had to bring against the #1 defensive team in the league in UAB, a team that was giving up only 58 points a game. The games, I don't know if you had looked back throughout the years, here in Hattiesburg in particular, all of the previous 5 matchups in Hattiesburg had been decided by an average of about 2.2 points a game. 2 of those in the 50s, 2 of those in the 40s. This one nearly played in the 30s, and it was a thrilling end considering you closed the game. You score 14 points in the last 10 minutes and 19 seconds, and you hold them to 2.
And their 2 was at the very end of the game.
It was.
You know, I thought Thursday night's game was a defensive battle, but that goes way down the charts compared to the battle on Saturday. You know, it was an unbelievable defensive war. You know, we held UAB in the first half, you know, to I think it was 22 points, and then they went on that surge, and then they took the lead going in at the half. And then we came back out the second half. We made some defensive adjustments. I thought our team did a great job of handling the defensive adjustments. Honestly, our coaching staff was a little concerned about our defense because they were on the other end. I think we would have been happy if we could have just kept the defense on our end. But they went to the other end, and again, they really stepped up and made huge defensive stops to give us the opportunity to be able to get some baskets in transition. Geronte Clemens scores the basket to take the lead. She scores another basket. Tamara Jones hits free throws and gets a basket for us to be able to get that victory. But it was an unbelievable ball game. I think defensively the key is Miranda Burrows. We did a very good job on her. We limited her wide open looks at the 3-ball. We held Janae Smith 9 points below her average. But again, Chelsea Black, you have to say hats off to Chelsea. she really lit it up, particularly in that first half. But Josh, when you have both teams that shoot 29%, that's pretty ugly basketball on the offensive side. Great basketball on the defensive side.
Yeah, two teams defensively that kept the other team out of rhythm. And talking about a particular player you touched on for the Lady Eagles, it's been now 3 consecutive games for Geronte Clemens where at the beginning of this year, you wondered, was she going to find a way to close games, to make the big play, because that's what she did in high school, and she did not shy away from that moment. She's not shied away in the last week and a half, and she has been money.
You know, she has. And, you know, just like you mentioned early in the year, she was not money. She struggled to finish. You know, and we talked about as a staff that, you know, we don't want to go to her in crunch time, you know, because she struggled. But because of, since Christmas, Josh, she's been a player that's really elevated her play since Christmas. You know, she has become that player in practice when we're playing games and we're having competition. She and Tamara Jones are the ones that want to make the play. And Fat has made those plays. And she has done that in these ball games in overtime for us to tie us up and to be able to help us get many wins. And again, I think it shows her growth as a player just by where she was at the beginning of the year and how she's finished for us.
It's going to be a big week coming up for the Southern Miss Lady Eagles. We've got a big show coming up for you here. So stay with us here on Southern Miss Sports Today. When we come back, we'll be mic'd up with Jordan Dupuis. We'll go back and hear from Diane Backstrom. We caught up with her at the 40th anniversary celebration. We'll also hear from Ashley Folsom, reach higher with Alora Sharp, and then look ahead to FIU and FAU. You're watching Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis.
From the very beginning, your life is made up of a series of moments. Each moment requires you to make a choice. Sometimes you don't really have much of a choice. But for the moments that you do, the big moments, what will you choose? Choose to discover your own path, to defy expectations, to be challenged. Choose to ask, what if? To make a difference. Choose to give back. Choose to do something that matters and make every moment count. Choose Southern Miss.
Hey basketball fans, it's time to get your tickets for the 2015 Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. UAB in the city of Birmingham, Alabama is proud to serve as this year's host. Get your tickets today and enjoy college basketball at its very best, March 11th through March 14th. For more information, go to conferenceusa.com.
That's fine. That's what you want. A contested 3-ball in the corner. Run! Stagger away! Stagger away! Stagger! Look! Hurry, let's go! Get it there! Move! Cut! Cut! Hey, underneath, underneath. Texas back. Run it. Get to your spot. Get to your spot. No. Other side, KJ. Up high, Meg. Safety, Meg. Tam, then KJ. You got Brooke, KJ. You got Brooke, KJ.
Get there. Hey, don't walk to our side.
Keep coming, Meg. Keep coming, Meg. Keep coming, Meg. Keep coming, Meg.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. We are at the 40th anniversary celebration of Southern Miss Lady Eagle basketball, and I am joined by Diane Backstrom, point guard, one of the great legends of Southern Miss Lady Eagle basketball, played from 1981 through 1985, and set the bar, the assist record, and then Renee McGee passed it, and then Jamira Faulkner last year passed them both, and we were joking about that off the air, and Diane, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we want to start with and catching up with you a little bit. So what have you been up to the last few years, and have you been able to stay connected to the exciting things going on with Lady Eagle basketball?
I have. I actually was here for the 30th year anniversary, and I keep in touch with Joy and Coach McNelis and all the former players, Portland McCaskill. I'm now living in Meridian. I have 2 children, and we relocated there after we left Southern Miss.
That's exciting. That's just right up the road, a short drive, and a lot going on. 27 wins for the Lady Eagles last year, very nearly an NCAA championship berth. That's what you were doing, you know, when you played. The NCAA championships and a lot of wins and setting the foundation for what Lady Eagle basketball is now. Could you have ever imagined when you play the type of amenities and resources that players these days have?
At the time, no. You know, back then, not to say back then, but it was just different for women's athletics, period. Now you look at the athletes, and they have so much more opportunities that we ever had, and I like to think that we paved the way for that, to open that door for Southern Miss, and to be here at 40 years is just an awesome experience for me.
And to be pioneers of the program, and with what Title IX, the doors that opened for females in athletics, and now for women's basketball to be the premier women's sport on the national scene. How neat is it for you to have played women's basketball and to see the way the game is viewed now on the national level?
It's just a privilege to know that women's athletics has come so far, and it's affording young ladies that wouldn't have an opportunity to go to school or attend to get a higher education. It's just really a thrill for me and really a privilege to be a part of that, and to know that I had some part of starting that.
When you run into young ladies that are young athletes that are 7th, 8th, 9th grade, first of all, they have no idea if college or what degree or if degree, and don't know what that does in terms of financial stability. And Diana Lyons, who we talked to in another segment, talked about that it's given her a comfortable life for all these years, is what Southern Miss did. What's your advice to young athletes that are thinking about, you know, really getting serious about their basketball and maybe wanting to play at the next level?
Actually, I had the opportunity to coach in a middle school for a few years, and what I found is that I didn't really know if I could coach, but what I could bring to the table was letting them know that maybe you don't have this opportunity, your family may not have this money to send you to school, but God gave you a talent that can take you to another level to not only further your education, but to also build character and make you strong and make you know that you can withstand anything. And that's what athletics did for me, and I know that would do the same thing for a lot of young people as well.
And then in closing, a couple of more questions. The assist record that Jamira went out and got and passed you and Renee.
Right.
Boy, she's something else, isn't
she's
she?
Awesome.
That's
she's
the
awesome.
future of Lady Eagle basketball, the skill set that some of these ladies have, because they begin so young. They have such access to great coaches and travel ball and everything. Is the game similar? Has it changed more than you realize? Would you say it's pretty similar, or has it changed a lot?
It's similar, but it's also more competitive. These students today, these student athletes, it is so competitive out there. I go out and I tell my daughter, who plays as well, I said, you got to compete. You got to get on the floor. You got to be shooting. You got to be practicing when everybody else is sleeping. But it's wonderful to see them go out and work so hard to achieve their goals.
And then in closing, family, Southern Miss, Lady Eagle basketball, if you could sum it up in a nutshell, what has it all meant to you?
Awesome. One
Awesome.
word.
One word.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Diane
you.
Backstrom, thank you so much for joining us. She's just right up in the road to Meridian. We look forward to visiting with you a lot more in the years to come. We'll take a break. We'll continue with more on Southern Miss Sports today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis right after this on the Southern Miss IMG Sports Network. Welcome back to Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis. As we continue with our interviews, we had Diane Backstrom in our last segment. We're joined now by Ashley Folsom of the Southern Miss Lady Eagles, a sophomore out of Deltona, Florida, as the Lady Eagles get ready for the Florida swing. We'll talk to her a little bit later in this segment about that, being able to go back home, but we want to start with talking about the big week that was last week for the Lady Eagles. 2 more big wins at home against Middle Tennessee in overtime, another thriller, and also just grinding one out against UAB. Take us back what it was like to be in the locker room, be behind the scenes, have some key minutes in the win against Middle Tennessee and some big buckets, and just the week that was for the Lady Eagles from the players' perspective.
Well, definitely the coaches try to prepare us as much as possible. In the locker room before the game, we have the same routine. You know, we'll listen to some music and stuff to get us in the right vibes going and get us pumped up. But, you know, we always seem to keep the games very close, and, you know, towards the end we'll pick up our defense, and that's how we'll get energized and start really to you know, start catching up or take the lead and stuff. But we always, I mean, we wait till the last second, and that's why we've had a lot of overtimes, and thankfully we've won every time we've been in overtime. But, you know, I know that the people in the stands, I've talked to them, a lot of the boosters say that, you know, they're on the verge of a heart attack because, you know, it's so close all the time and we cut it down to the wire. But thankfully we stay composed, and we have people that will step up and finish big plays, so it always helps.
Oh, she's a young lady who has really added some different elements to her game. She can shoot the 3-ball, one of the best free throw shooters on the team, but I've been liking to see the aggressive plays from you, snatching a rebound, going right back up and under move. Had some big buckets against Middle Tennessee. I know all the post players work a lot with Coach Sharp. How much has that post move, the one-on-one skill development, really kind of helped grow and transform your game this year?
Yeah, it's definitely helped all of us. I've noticed myself improving in the back of the basket. I'm pretty weak as far as that goes, but every practice we'll have, you know, about 10 or so minutes of skill development. We'll work on our post moves, our face-up moves, Jack Sigma, and back to the basket. And, you know, for them to have worked that into the practice, it really has helped. And we'll put up extra shots and stuff because, you know, you'll have your trail post coming down and you need to be able to knock down that shot. But yeah, Coach Sharp is a great post coach, and she's helped us develop our moves around the basket. And, you know, talking just about me, I feel like I've, you know, improved specifically my game as well. So
mentally for you, Ashley, and for every player, you go from playing so many minutes and probably never coming out of the game as a senior in high school, and then you make the transition earlier in your career at the D1 level perhaps to see limited minutes. Mentally, how do you have to attack that to be able to really stay on top of that? Because I know at times it can be challenging, but you're able to always, you got to stay positive and stay in the moment and keep moving forward. Yeah,
that's exactly what you have to do. I went through, you know, phases where I was playing well and I got more minutes, you know, last year and this year. But when you're struggling, you know, you still have to put in the work before practice and after practice and not get down on yourself. And like you said, stay positive. And, you know, I'll talk to Coach McNelis about, you know, if I felt like I should have played more. She'll just tell me, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out because of on the defensive end, I'm not that great defensively, so, you know, she can't put me in there, but I just got to keep working on my game and, you know, let it come. So, because if you stress about it, it doesn't make the situation any better.
And you got to realize you're just a sophomore. She's just a sophomore. Her upperclassmen years are left, and just your second trip back to Florida. You'll get to be in front of family and friends again. Deltona, Florida, right between Daytona and Orlando, about 30 minutes away from each. And so being down in Miami and Boca, a lot of people can get down. How neat is it to go back to your home state and play in front of everybody?
Yeah, I love Florida. I'm very excited to be going to back to my home state and be there for a few days. My parents and my sister are coming Saturday. I just got to figure out when I can spend some time with them. We don't have as large of a gap, you know, in between games, so we're not going to be able to go to the beach, but we will have some downtime, and, you know, I'm just excited to see my family. So.
Well, we're excited to get you there because I know that'll be a spark for you. And in closing, I remember last year, you are definitely somebody who is very health conscious. You really watch what you eat. Coming to Mississippi was a transition for you. What has been your Mississippi home cooking food of choice that you've leaned on? Have you had any, or are you still looking for your favorite dish in Mississippi?
Well, I know that fried foods is really big down here, but I've never had collard greens. Is that how you say it?
You said it pretty good.
And I really like that, and it's not too bad for you. I just like to eat healthy if I can. We're kind of limited sometimes with the calf, but Coach Sturr, he buys us like the best food, and we can tell him whatever we want, so it's not an issue there. But yeah, I love the collard greens, and one of the boosters, Mr. Carl and Miss Betty, make great food. So I'll go over there sometimes and eat, and Miss Rhonda's a really great cook too, so yeah.
Well, that's good. It seems like you're well taken care of, and that some of the southern dishes are kind of, rubbing off on her a little bit, so to speak. So that's good to see that Mississippi is rubbing off you a little bit. I know you love the home state, but South Mississippi is becoming home, a second home as well. She's Ashley Folsom, the sophomore for the Southern Miss Lady Eagles. We'll take a break, come back, and when we come back, we'll talk about her return trip to Florida with Coach McNelis. We'll look ahead to FIU and FAU. You're watching Southern Miss Sports Today.
Gunderman Group.
Gunderman Group is growing.
Getting in a groove.
Growth is gratifying.
Goal is to grow.
Gotta get greater growth.
I just talked to UPS. They've got expert advice, special discounts, new technologies, like smart pickups. They'll only show up when you print a label, and it's automatic. We save time and money.
Time?
Money?
Time and money.
Awesome.
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 I love logistics.
Hey, my name's Coach Sharp, and I'm an assistant women's basketball coach at the University of Southern Mississippi. And along with me, we've got two post players, Voyshay Martin, senior, and Ashley Folsom, sophomore. We're gonna teach you one move that'll help you reach higher in the post. There's a couple key points when shooting the jump hook. Number one, you've gotta have a nice big low post up. Second of all, you wanna have nice high elbows. Third of all, you wanna have active feet. The next thing is on the catch. You wanna catch, chin, and check, so you're reading your defense. She's gonna give a pump fake to the baseline. She's gonna pivot to the inside, find the rim, and finish with her jump hook.
Ball, ball,
Good.
ball, ball.
Good. Good. Nice. Next one. Good. Good.
Ball, 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 ball.
Good. 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 Here we go. Good. Okay, so here we go. Good.
Ball, ball, ball.
Good. Nice, Bo. Here we go, Ash. Good.
As we wrap up this edition of Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis, Lady Eagles are getting set to make their Florida swing and against FIU and FAU. And coach, if there's a place that's kind of like a home away from home for this group of Lady Eagles, it's the state of Florida, in particular South Florida, with players like Brittany Dinkins, Alex Coyne, Ashley Folsom. It's going to be neat to get to go back and have that built-in fan base there ready to cheer on the black and gold.
And last year we probably had 100 people there cheering for the black and gold, and it was, a great experience for all of us, but it was a lot of fun for those home state girls to be able to go back and their family and their friends and their high school teammates come back and get a chance to see them play. So it will be a homecoming for that group of young ladies for sure.
Cindy Russo no longer with FIU and battling health issues, and we wish her the best, and that has a huge effect on a team. And then FAU being the youngest team in Division I basketball. These are two programs right now that are kind of searching in transition, but especially FAU, very dangerous.
Oh, they're very dangerous, Josh. They go to UTEP and win at UTEP solid. it is a solid win. Their star in Shanice Bailey gets hurt in the UTSA game, and she went down and was hobbling and played hobbling around, and that is one tough cookie. She was AAU club teammates with Ashley and Alex, and actually we tried very hard to recruit Shanice, but she's a very good athlete that can really score the ball in multiple ways. And that's the thing with FAU. In their starting lineup, it's 5 guards. Now they do sub, which they didn't last year. They sub a post player in, but that's really it. They're going to shoot the 3 ball. They're going to shoot it a lot. They're going to drive to the basket, create opportunities for other people. They play a lot like a Florida Gulf Coast, Josh, their style of play. So we, again, will have to adjust to be able to defend them. And then hopefully they will have to adjust to be able to guard us being bigger than them. You go to FIU, they have some post players. So again, it's a total different game when we play FIU actually first. So we play FIU, it's more the traditional style. They have Keandra Pounds, that's a great freshman that's really leading that team, and they're really rallying around her. So we've got to be able to guard and defend one way there. We've got to be able to tweak our offenses to take advantage, to give us some opportunities there. And then less than 48 hours, we're playing the shooting machine, FAU, that's going to shoot it from deep. It's like you're playing Middle Tennessee all over again, but 5 of them shooting it, not just 4 shooting. So again, it really presents a lot of mismatch problems for us. But I tell you what, the Lady Eagles have to maintain their defensive strategy. We have to continue to live by our defense. We must dominate the glass, Josh, just like we did against UAB. You know, and again, UAB, they didn't send a lot of people to the glass because they were getting back with us on transition. So therefore, we cannot allow them to get any second chance points. We've got to board it, and we've got to make our transition game be very effective. And Coach, in closing, are we seeing this Lady Eagle team finally start to develop some of that grit that we've been looking for all year long? They have, and you know, they've just, their chemistry and their sense of fight is just, it's a little different now. It's just a little different swagger in how they feel, how they think, you know, and it's just been a process. You know, I was in game film when we went over the weekend's games. You know, I had to get on to them about, you know, when you're a team that wants to compete for a championship, you don't walk to a huddle during a timeout. You sprint to a timeout. I mean, you watch Kentucky's men play on TV, and they're going to sprint to the free throw line on the other end. You know, champions sprint to everywhere. They don't walk, because that is truly a defeated look. And so those are things we're still in the process of teaching this team, that that's a way when you're fighting for a championship, it's not just diving on the floor after a loose ball. It's a whole lot of little things that makes a big difference. Well, Coach, we look forward to seeing this team this week compete in another 2-week segment, or 2-game segment, as we talked about. Coming up at the beginning of the show, we said 3 more 2-week segments. You got to take them one at a time each week, trying to run the table to win a regular season championship. And then, of course, going to need a little bit of help from either Western Kentucky or Middle Tennessee. For Coach McNelis, Laura Sharp, Jordan Dupuis, Ashley Folsom, Diana Backstrom, Craig Adams, everybody who's helped us with the show, I'm Josh West saying so long. Until next time, you've been watching Southern Miss Sports Today with head coach Joye Lee-McNelis.